Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my parents' basement, your parents' basement, our parents' basement, and we have been locked in for about 6 months. We haven't had anything to drink. We've been surviving off the spiders that have crawled in under the cracks and the dust that has been settling. We've been sucking the moisture off the paint on the walls. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video on this YouTube channel titled Our Parents' Basement, which disappears from time to time for months or maybe years on end. If I've ever been one thing as a YouTuber, it's consistently inconsistent. That's what I've always been. You can probably go back and watch some old videos where I've said that exact same phrase. Consistently inconsistent. I love the phrase because it rings true in my heart. I enjoy talking about movies. I love sitting in front of this camera and talking about just Blu-rays, movies, whatever it may be, but I have such a packed schedule that it's hard to find not only the energy but the time to sit down, talk, and then edit the video. And if what I'm talking about I don't really care to talk about, it's just hard to find its way. A couple months back, Best Buy stopped selling Blu-rays or announced that they were going to, and I was like, oh, let's do a video. So I started filming the video and I went, oh, no, this is all wrong. So it was done. But today, you've seen the title, the thumbnail that goes with it. You know how YouTube works, and so do I. We're talking about my top 8 Blu-rays coming out in the month of March. I did have an idea at one point to go over every Blu-ray release monthly, but I realized there's so many Blu-rays that come out sometimes, and in some cases a lot of those are movies that I've never seen, have no interest to see. They're weird, obscure ones, and sometimes there's ones that I do want to see and I haven't seen, or whatever it may be. Sometimes there's just so much to talk about, and I feel like I have too little insight to add, so I don't want to do it. So I thought I'd look at this month of March, and maybe I'll look at April and May. This is a possible series that I would like to do, because I like looking ahead to the Blu-rays that come out, and I like to keep my finger on the pulse, especially because something that's happened to me many times, and I'm sure it's happened to you many times, is I've bought a Blu-ray, and months later that movie comes out on 4K, or it comes out on a remastered Blu-ray. There's a couple times where I bought foreign Blu-rays because I'm like, oh, this movie's never going to get a Blu-ray release, or it doesn't have a Blu-ray release yet, or I'm scared that it will never get an American release, and then months later it does, and I go, why did I buy that foreign version of it that has a lesser picture quality because they got a new transfer? I'm looking at you, Beverly Hills Cop. But today I'm going to go over my top 8 Blu-rays that are coming out in March, but first I want to go over some honorable mentions. I have my trusty little paper here. So some honorable mentions that are coming out on Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray, of course. We have The Manchurian Candidate with Denzel Washington. That's coming out on 4K on the 19th. Wish, the Disney Pixar... Is it a Pixar movie? I know it's a Disney movie. Wish is coming to 4K on the 12th. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Yeah, that's the movie title. That's coming out on the 12th as well. I think isn't that considered the last DCEU movie? Rest in peace. We have Suzume, the anime. That's coming out on March 12th. I want to see that movie, but I'm just not a big anime guy, and that's why it did not make my top 8 list. Kung Fu Panda is coming out on the 12th. That's getting a 4K release. I have a weird relationship with a lot of kid movies. I grew up watching these movies, Kung Fu Panda one of them. But there's only certain ones that still resonate with me and that I still want to go back and watch. For the most part, I love a lot of those classic animated movies that came out when I was growing up, like Toy Story, The Incredibles, Finding Nemo, Ratatouille, dare I say Cars, Monsters, Inc. And then even when I was starting to become into my teenage years, like Monsters University, Finding Dory, Toy Story 4. Yeah, Toy Story 4. But there's a lot of those movies that I like and I think are really good movies. But really only like The Incredibles, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Those are really the only ones that I ever go oh, I really feel like watching those. Other than that, I'm more like, I'm okay. All That Money Can Buy, that's a Criterion release. It's coming out on the 12th. That's a classic film that I've heard much about, but have not seen. I definitely want to check it out. The Shining, Stephen King's made-for-TV television miniseries because he hated what Stanley Kubrick did so much. Anyone But You. coming out on Blu-ray. I don't think that's getting a 4K release. I still need to check that one out. And then I've got on my list Event Horizon, The Running Man, and Oppenheimer, all coming to 4K. And the reason why those ones I've kind of secluded from the rest of the bunch is because these are all re-releases. Oppenheimer's getting a re-release Steelbook, Walmart exclusive, formerly Best Buy exclusive. The Running Man, I believe, is getting a re-release Steelbook, and Event Horizon, I think, may also be getting a re-release Steelbook. So those are all re-release Steelbooks. Those are some of my honorable mentions. Either I haven't seen these movies, or I'm not really interested in them, but I do think that there's a large group of people that would be. So those are the reasons why they're left off my list, but for the most part, I think most of you guys can already guess if you pay attention to the Blu-ray release calendar what's going to be in mine. But without further ado, let's start with number 8. My number 8 most anticipated Blu-ray release, or 4K Blu-ray release of March, is To Die For, starring Nicole Kidman. It's a Criterion Collection release coming to 4K. Now, I've never seen this movie before, but I'm very interested to see it. It's directed by the same guy who directed Good Will Hunting and the Psycho shot-for-shot remake with Vince Vaughn. And there's a couple other like really weird ones where like that's the same person. But I've never seen that movie, but I've seen a lot of people talk about it in previous iterations of videos and whatever. I've heard some good things about it. I'm very interested to see it. Looks like it'd be a movie right up my alley. It's got Joaquin Phoenix and Matt Dillon, two actors that I'm really big fans of, and obviously Nicole Kidman, who's probably one of the best actresses of her generation. So that's number 8 on my list. And the reason why it is number 8 is, like I said, I haven't seen it before, but I am really interested to see it. It's Criterion. You can't really go wrong with Criterion. Number 7 is Primal Fear, coming to 4K via Paramount Presents. This is a movie I have seen. I do believe this is Edward Norton's film debut, is it not? Classic performance by him, Richard Gere. Great, well, I mean, it came out in the 90s. There's a great twist ending. The reason why I hesitate is because saying that there's a great twist spoils the twist, even though you're not directly saying what the twist is, because now the people are anticipating that twist. But like I said, it came out in the 90s. I apologize if you've never seen it. I mean, To Die For, I've never seen it. That came out in the 90s. So apologies. Number 6 is another film I've never seen. It's The Iron Claw. That one released recently. I'm a huge fan of professional wrestling. It's the Von Erichs. I am a little upset that they obviously had to change some of the true story stuff. And I get why. The real story of it is much more depressing than anyone could probably ever imagine. But I feel like there's a lot of untapped emotional potential that could have been there. But I haven't seen the movie. Like I said, I'm a big fan of professional wrestling. I'm a depressed, broke college student. I cannot go to the theater for every single movie. In fact, I can rarely go to the theater at all. I barely have enough time to do what I have to do already. So most of the time, a movie that I really want to see, I have to wait for the Blu-ray to come out because I just can't warrant a Blu-ray purchase and a theater purchase. It's kind of one or the other, and I'd much rather have the Blu-ray because that is yours forever. Number 5 is probably a weird one that most people would probably go right over the head. It's Quiggly Down Under, coming to 4K. I'm a big Tom Selleck fan. I love Magnum P.I. And they're in my most obsessed stage of Tom Selleck. I wanted to watch his movies, and that's usually how I kind of am. I find an actor that I really like, and I go, oh, I want to see more of their stuff. And with Tom Selleck, it's weird because Magnum was such a big hit that you would have thought, and it being an action series, you would have thought it would have led to more roles, and that Tom Selleck kind of would have been typecast as a private investigator, detective, action hero. But instead, he really doesn't have that extensive of a filmography. And the ones that the movies that he has done, they aren't necessarily that great. I like Lassiter quite a bit. I think that's a fun spy film set in the 1930s. Quigley Down Under I don't love. Alan Rickman portrays a really good villain, but I feel like the movie, instead of building up to something, it kind of gives it to you right away and then tries to build up to it again, and then you're just kind of like, I don't like what you did there. But it's coming to 4K, and like I said, I'm the kind of guy that if there's even an ounce possibility that I would want to watch a movie again, I have to have it. I'm weird like that. So even though I don't love Quigley Down Under, and I don't think it's like some neo-Western masterpiece that takes place in Australia, and I think Tom Selleck kind of phones it in that movie, and it's not necessarily one that I would say is a must-watch. I'm weird like that, and I need it. Number 4 is Poor Things, another new movie that's gotten a ton of buzz that I haven't had the opportunity to see yet. So this will be my first opportunity to see it. Everything I've heard sounds like it's a fantastic film. I've tried to stay away from trailers and plot synopsises because I like going into movies cold, especially movies like that where it's like, okay, this could go any place. I don't want to build up expectations to what I think it could be. I just want to sit down and experience the ride myself for the first time without any preconceived notions. We're getting down to the top 3, and there's a couple obvious omissions so far if you know what's coming out. And the first one will be struck through right here. It's The Abyss, coming out on March 12th. I realize that for some of these I haven't said the release dates, so I apologize for that. I kind of spaced out on it. But March 12th, The Abyss finally comes to 4K and Blu-ray. Never had a Blu-ray or 4K release before. I first saw this film on Amazon Prime. I had been wanting to watch it for so long. It was one of the few James Cameron films that had eluded me up to that point, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't just go out and buy a Blu-ray and buy it. Not going to waste my money on a DVD. So I finally got around to seeing it. Really did enjoy it. I definitely don't think it can compete with Cameron's best, but I respected it. There was a lot of aspects of it that I did enjoy. Ed Harris, I love watching that guy do whatever, whether he's playing more of an antagonist or protagonist. I think he's just kind of like a magnet to watch. He's such a good actor. So that's definitely on there. I'm really looking forward to it. One of the downgrades of it is that James Cameron loves to go in and take out the film grain. He loves to put in DNR, and I think in these films they used AI to do it, and I think they used AI to fill in the gaps, and I saw some snippets of some of this batch of 4K releases that he's done, and it looks a little off, so that's a little disappointing, but this is the first time it's been on 4K, the first time it's been on Blu-ray. It's a must-buy for me, and I'm definitely going to be picking it up. No, I'm not going to try and play Secret Keeper here. James Cameron on March 12th is re-releasing onto 4K The Abyss, Aliens, and True Lies. For True Lies and Abyss is the first time they're on Blu-ray or 4K. Aliens has been around on Blu-ray. You can get the Blu-ray. We're in the top 3. You might suspect that those would be the top 3, and I'm going to say that they're not. I'm just going to come out front and tell you guys right now, Aliens is not on my list. And the reason why Aliens is not on my list is because of that DNR, I really don't feel the need to pick it up. I have a quadrilogy collection of Alien back there that obviously has Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, is that what that last one's called? Yeah, Alien Resurrection. And then I have Prometheus and Alien Covenant separate on 4K. If I can't get them all on 4K in like one big swoop, I really don't feel the need to necessarily singly buy each one. I'm fine watching the Blu-rays. Do I want it in 4K? Yeah. If it existed on its own, would I get it? Yeah. But because it's part of this series and only the first 2 would be available on 4K, I'm just going to keep my nice little collection set back there. So that being said, what is number 2? Because spoiler alert, True Lies is number 1. We'll get to that in a second. But what is number 2, you ask? Well, it's K-19 The Widowmaker, coming out to 4K on March 19th. So it's Harrison Ford and Liam Neeson. It's directed by Catherine Bigelow. And this is one of my most underrated Harrison Ford movies. I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan. He's my favorite actor of all time. I love his stuff. Even the stuff that people would look at and go, that movie sucks. I own that movie on Blu-ray. For example, Random Hearts. You have probably never heard of Random Hearts. It's directed by Sidney Pollack. It came out in the early 2000s. Maybe 99 if I can't remember correctly. It stars Harrison Ford. It's not that good of a movie. I'm going to be real with you. It's not that good of a movie. I have it on Blu-ray. The Devil's Own with Brad Pitt and Harrison Ford. I own that on Blu-ray. Firewall. Have you even heard of that movie? It stars Harrison Ford and Paul Bettany. It came out in like 2006, and Harrison Ford only filmed it because Kingdom of the Crystal Skull got postponed. I have that on Blu-ray. That's the kind of Harrison Ford fan I am. I need help.
This is an obsession.
No, but I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan, and K-19 The Widowmaker is probably... Harrison Ford's got so many underrated movies. He's known for the Indiana Jones and Star Wars and The Fugitive and Air Force One, but I love Presumed Innocent. I love Frantic. And I'm a really big fan of K-19 The Widowmaker. It's suspenseful, it's thrilling. There was that era in like the 90s where, probably maybe started with, in the late 80s with Hunt for Red October, where there were like these submarine movies that suddenly came out, like the one with Denzel and Gene Hackman. which is the name of it is escaping me. Oh, Crimson Tide. Have it on the shelf over there. U-571 with Matthew McConaughey. Like, there's the, like, submarine films are like a whole genre within themselves. And it's about a Russian submarine. And like I said, it's got Harrison Ford, Liam Neeson. It's a really underrated movie. They actually rebuilt the submarine. They found an old submarine. They rebuilt it. There's actually to scale the submarine in this movie. They went all out for it. They filmed with the dimensions of the sets built specifically to the accurate dimensions of the submarine that they're portraying in the film. Just a really good movie, a really good historical, based on a true story type movie with Harrison Ford giving a really underrated performance as a Russian. If you're one of those people that don't know how good of an actor Harrison Ford is, this is definitely a good one to check. He's a little bit against the grain. It's not a typical Harrison Ford performance or role, and that's why I like it so much. And this movie was out of print on Blu-ray. And so, it reminds me very much of this gem right here, JFK, out of print on Blu-ray for a very long time. And Shout Select came out with this beautiful box set. Shout Select is releasing Canada and the Widowmaker 2. They're coming in clutch for me, all these movies that I love that are out of print on Blu-ray. So Canada and the Widowmaker, number 2. I'm sorry, Aliens. And like I kind of spoiled a little bit earlier, my number 1 most anticipated must-have Blu-ray release, 4K release of the month of March 2024 is James Cameron's True Lies, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, with a small part given to Bill Paxton. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. True Lies is kind of low-key my favorite James Cameron movie. Now I know what you're thinking, Titanic, Terminator 1 and 2, Aliens, the Avatar films, Piranha. The thing I love about True Lies so much is it's kind of against all of James Cameron's other films. It kind of feels like it's the one that stands out. It's such like a small scale idea that's turned around into this big spectacle of a movie with awesome action set pieces and jets flying around and shooting missiles through buildings. Just a crazy movie that I really, really love. It's just, why can't we have more action movies like that? And again, like I said, I was kind of hesitant. I was like, should I put this at number 1? Because they did go back and take out all the film grain, and there is AI filling in for smoothness, and maybe K-19 The Widowmaker is number 1 for me, and maybe that is a hot take for a lot of people, but you already put it at number 2. It can't get much hotter than that. Well, actually it can by putting it at number 1. But I said to myself, no. True Lies is a movie you've been waiting for so long, because although K-19 The Widowmaker is out of print, I can go pay $30 for it, getting that out of print Blu-ray on eBay. All you gotta do is go overpay for it on eBay, and it's yours. But True Lies, there is no way you're getting that unless you buy some discounted foreign copy that someone probably printed off on their stinking 3D printer, printed out on the case. You can see the ink bleed through on the cover. No. You gotta put True Lies at number 1. So that's exactly what I did. So guys, those are my most anticipated and must-have Blu-rays that are coming out in March of 2024. Let me know down in the comments below what are your most anticipated movies coming out this month. Let me know if you'd be interested in me doing this for the next month, April, March, April, May, June, July. Just have to recount everything. I know sometimes it can't keep everything. Sometimes some stuff falls out. And I had a lot of dates and movies to remember for this, so I lost some things along the way. But let me know if you guys would be interested in me doing this again, and like I said, definitely comment down below. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think. What are some of your most anticipated films coming out? Any that I didn't mention, because there's a couple ones that I'm like, oh, this is a classic film coming back, getting a re-release of 4K. I'm just not familiar with it, so I didn't put it on the list. But let me know, guys. Just check Blu-rays.com. That's where I get all my Blu-ray information from. You can see what's been recently announced, what's recently listed, the new pre-orders available, and you can check out the release schedule calendar too. So definitely check that out. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are looking forward to. Do you agree with any of mine? Do you disagree? Like, comment, subscribe, do what you gotta do. But make sure that you come back knocking on my parents' basement door so then we can all be in our parents' basement. We'll see you next time.